What do working out, watching your favorite TV show, reading a book, and even playing golf all have in common? What's up and welcome to the video. I'm Dr. Daniel Ricciardi, gut health expert, licensed pharmacist, fitness enthusiast, and creator of SIBO Shortcut. Today, I want to talk about a topic that is essential but often overlooked: self-care. With our busy lives, it's really easy to put this on the back burner and not prioritize it, but taking care of yourself not only isn't selfish, it's necessary. In this video, I'm going to talk about what is self-care, why it's important, especially for gut health, and then talk about what sort of stuff for self-care that I've tried in the past, what I found helpful, and what I found to be not so helpful, and hopefully convince you that self-care is something that should be a priority in your life. So what is self-care? Self-care, at least the way I like to think about it, is any intentional action that helps with either your mental, physical, or emotional health. And this can encompass a wide range of things. It's not just taking a bubble bath and listening to music, although that can be great too if you enjoy doing that. I like to think of self-care as anything that fills up your bucket when thinking about mental, physical, or emotional health. Moving on, how does self-care help with digestion and digestive health? The mind-gut connection, which you may have heard of, is really critical here. When you're stressed, anxious, mentally exhausted, your ability to digest and absorb food and nutrients actually decreases, which can lead to bloating, gas, and a variety of digestive issues. And self-care can help prevent this from happening. It does this in part by activating your vagus nerve, which is a long nerve that runs all the way from your brain all the way down through your major organs into your intestine. When this vagus nerve is activated, it results in what is known as a parasympathetic response in your body. You can think of this as being the opposite of a fight or flight response. It is sometimes called the rest and digest state, and this parasympathetic response is key to maintaining good digestion and gut health. All right, now on to the stuff that I've tried before in the past. I'm going to kind of split this up in two different eras, so to speak. So the first one is pre-2020 and the second one is post-2020 to present day. One thing that I've always done for self-care, even though I didn't really think of it in terms of being self-care, was go to the gym and playing sports. Growing up, I played soccer, baseball, and tennis, and a lot of the reason I was working out was so I could be better at those sports. Primarily for a physical benefit in this case, but just growing up, getting to exercise and be active probably had some mental and emotional benefits as well, even though I wasn't really thinking about this at the time. I still love working out and do it almost every day of the week. However, now I'm just working out to look and feel good, and nothing that I'm really doing is meant to make me better at sports. I do have all 4 years of D1 eligibility left, but at age 36, looks pretty unlikely that we're going to be using those. Also pre-2020, I've always tried to eat pretty healthy. For a long time, I've actually tracked calories and macros and tried to make sure that I'm eating the proper amount of food for what I wanted to do at that time, whether it be gain or lose weight or maintain. This I would still put under the physical category of self-care because I was doing it mainly to be better at sports and to have a better physique, which still was pretty difficult because I had small intestinal bacterial overgrowth from 2011 all the way up to the beginning of 2020. So this caused a lot of bloating, and I actually had to eat way more calories than I do now just to maintain my body weight. I was eating upwards of 3,500 calories a day, which is a ton of food, and it was probably somewhat due to the SIBO, where I'm not digesting and absorbing the food well enough. Last thing I'll mention pre-2020 is I did nothing really mental health wise or emotional health wise. I would hang out with friends a lot, go on trips, definitely had a lot of fun, but certainly was not talking about my feelings at all. Really hated doing this. Still don't think it's super fun to do, but I think it's important to do. And I think around this 2020 period was kind of when mental health started being talked about a lot more, especially when the COVID lockdowns were beginning. My perception of the whole topic and conversation of mental health has also changed quite a bit since this time. I always knew mental health issues were a thing. However, back then I kind of thought it's just something you have to figure out and work on your own, which is clearly not the case knowing what I know now. All right, moving on to stuff that I have tried since 2020. First one that I'll talk about is meditation, which I did almost daily for probably about 2 years from 2021 to 2022. People rave about meditation and how great it is. And I'll admit, if you get into like a pretty good flow doing it, it can be somewhat nice. For me personally though, I never really looked forward to it. And I never felt that for me personally, it had the impact that it has on so many other people. To be clear, I'm not trying to knock meditation whatsoever. It was just for me personally, it just didn't resonate with me the way that I know it does for a lot of other people. I also started doing a gratitude journal around 2021 as well. I used to sit down and write quite a bit in my journal every morning just on any random topic or any thoughts that I had. I've since kind of cut that down, and now I'm just writing 3 things every day that I'm grateful for, and they aren't even really like anything crazy. It could just be something simple. Like for example, back in November 2023, I got a staph infection in my leg. I even made 1 or 2 YouTube videos about this, and just not being able to walk for 3 or 4 days makes you really grateful for something really simple that you definitely took for granted. And for me, like, I've never been grateful that I could walk, but it is pretty cool because some people are not able to do that. I've also found this just kind of like reshape my perception. If like something happens to me, instead of interpreting it as a negative effect, you're kind of just like, okay, that happened. It just kind of helps you see the good in everything else that's going on around you. I didn't come up with this quote, but I've definitely seen this a lot of the times, where life is 10% what actually happens to you and 90% how you respond to what's happening to you. For me personally, I have had actual issues come up, like the staph infection that I mentioned, but for the most part, most of the stuff that is stressing me out and maybe stressing you out is stuff that isn't really super important. So being able to keep a gratitude journal just helps keep this in perspective. Another self-care practice I've been doing is setting boundaries. For me specifically, this has been like not drinking alcohol, which I do this rarely now. I drank last weekend, but before that, it's been 7 months since I had an alcoholic beverage, which has been really nice. Also, not staying out really late and getting poor sleep. If I do this a few nights in a row, I just feel really worn down. And even in the past, I would catch colds from just being really worn down and lacking sleep. And then the last one I'll mention is seeking proper help if you need help with whatever that might be. Finding somebody that knows more than you about it. So back in 2020, when I met with a functional doctor to talk about my digestive issues, I had just tried on my own all these random things, random diets, random supplements. I'd been a pharmacist for 8 years up to that point, so felt pretty knowledgeable that I know what I'm talking about in terms of health, the human body, and how to handle any issue that could come up. The SIBO thing for me was not something that I was able to figure out. So it wasn't until I sort of swallowed my pride, sought out help, admitted I don't know as much as these other people on this topic, let them help me so I can actually feel better. So these are some of the things that I've done personally for self-care and how they've impacted my life. Hopefully it's given you some ideas. Most things people think about when it comes to self-care are things like breathing exercises, meditation, bubble baths, reading, and these things are all excellent if you enjoy doing them and will be looking forward to doing them and fill your buckets, so to speak. But you could also get this from playing golf or watching Love is Blind or some other garbage TV show. The thing is finding and making time to intentionally do things you enjoy to fill up your physical, mental, and emotional buckets. That is all for today. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel for more related content. In the comments section below, let me know which self-care activities have you found most helpful. If you're new to my channel, I post a new full-length video every Monday in YouTube Shorts throughout the week. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.